deep freeze. It's cold. I'm prepared though. Do you like my stylish headpiece? Look, it's a scarf with mittens. Well, it's like built in. And it even has a little button so I could, you know, make sure my ears stay warm. Yeah. It's, well, I'm cheating. I'm filming this on Sunday before the storm hits. Because I didn't know what it would be like getting out to the minivan tomorrow morning. Or tomorrow afternoon before I go to work. So I'll probably be shoveling, and that would mean I'm not going to have time to film. And you guys know how that rolls. So I'm outside. Here. Let's just turn that off so we don't have that noise. Am I looking okay? Well, other than the obvious. Am I straight? So right now Charlie says it's 0 degrees on Sunday. And it is 12:48 that I'm filming. So why am I so on top of things? Because I have spent about 6 hours overnight, today, whatever, editing the vault footage of Kicking It with Kim, other than our trip in Florida, which is like 2 years ago, and I only got half of that posted. I will get it posted someday. But we did a marathon filming back in July, and I just finished editing those videos. So one of them should have posted before this. I'm going to post one yet on Sunday, so you'll see that before MiniVan Monday. And then I'll stagger the rest out over the next week or so, because then we filmed another marathon film a couple weeks ago. And it was so fun because we had 2 packages. So I'm just saying this for my friends that may be wondering, why didn't you post what you said you just filmed? Because, you know, OCD, some things I like to do old. The trip, that was a separate thing. But so Hannah and Ruby and Steph, after the last one of the July ones, we're going to start showing the Wahoo mail you sent us and all those let's just say there's some very interesting, Eddie even used the word epic, food tasting videos coming up. So that's exciting. Oh, so here I am. I'm actually prepared because I rambled for a half hour last time at my first MiniVan Monday. I had to write notes. Well, it's 0 degrees, so it's kind of hard to get the ink to run. And then I'm like, I tried writing on a napkin. That didn't work. So I dug this little fast food thing out of the garbage and wrote my notes on there. So I will remember everything I wanted to say. So, okay, well, I got to take this off because right now I'm okay. And it's like moving around. And although now you're going to see hot messed hair. Yeah, this is called Kathy Has the Weekend Off and just puts her hair on top of her head. You guys already know that. I'm not a beauty guru. I do have a cup of hot coffee if I need it. I have my color changing nail polish on, which is warm right now. This is the lighter color. And so if we see it going dark purple, that means I might need to turn the van on and turn the heat back on. Or just shut up and get in the house. So, had a good week. Thanks for all of the seasoned friends who commented and the new friends that checked in on MiniVan Monday. I really like it because I might just become my chatty day. Oh, how rude. I have a piece of gum in my mouth. I always forget. Now I feel like something on my teeth. No, okay. And if I have gum in my mouth, I don't remember until I'm editing and I'm like, Kathy, that is so bad. Anyway, so last week was my short week at work, which was nice. I had my massage. Did I talk about that here? I found this lady that does like deep tissue and she does cupping. I know I talked about it in Truth Be Told Tuesday. We talked about massage. So I went back on Friday and I'm still a little sore. But she did, what she does is called moving cups, where she like has the skin pulled up, the muscle, and like moves it around your body. And then she parked the cups, is what she said. And there were 20 of them on my back. And she left them there for 5 minutes. And what that basically, I figured out, means find the 20 most sensitive, in need of attention spots, and let's apply huge suction pressure on them all at once. So your whole body is in so much pain you don't know where it hurts. I don't know if I'll edit and show you. I put it on Snapchat. I tried to take pictures of like right after you could see the suction cup marks. Ooh, I just saw snowflakes. Yeah, we're supposed to get a couple inches of snow. Okay, I'm already going backtracked. So, and then this cupping, what it does, it like pulls out, we've talked about this, and I actually got some marks. I was like, woohoo, it wasn't in my mind. I actually know I have crap going on. So there's a couple spots I got, not like serious black and blue, but like some darker color where you can tell she really worked it. So I'm kind of glad I had the weekend off, because seriously, I was in pain and I was tired and just didn't feel well, which she said is perfectly normal. So back to the weather. Yeah, 0 degrees right now. Last week we had a couple really cold days, which is nothing. I wrote this down. We are, well, it's been real varying. So there's a snow front just starting to move in, which is why I'm filming now. I saw a couple flakes, and it like now the most recent one says 1 to 3 inches of snow for me, but I've heard like 6 to 8, and of course the wind's going to pick up. And the worst part, so Monday, today that you're watching this, it is a high of 6 above 0. We'll take that. And a low of -11. Guess what Tuesday is? If I was doing Truth Be Told Tuesday from the van, I would have to have the heat on full bore, because the high for tomorrow is -8 and the low -30 degrees. That doesn't include wind chill. Those of you that live places with wind chill, you know it's going to go a lot deeper. And what it is like it feels like. Last week when it was cold, we were like 15 below. And like, seriously, I'm parked in my driveway and I have, I don't know, I'm terrible gauge, 20 feet to my door, to the house. I don't know, like a normal distance. I'm not good at that. And I had my mitten off and my key in my hand, and just like grabbed my purse and stuff after work, got out of my van and walked to the door to unlock it. And my hand was red and tight and like already cold. It would not take long to get frostbite out here. And I'm still mild. You know, I have family and friends up in the Dakotas, North Dakota, and I grew up there, and it is at least going to be probably 10 to 15 degrees colder there. Plus, there's nothing to block the wind, at least where I grew up. So, yeah, they're going to have it even worse. So, and do you people, that sounded really bad. Do my friends out here, have you experienced cold like this? I'm trying to remember. The coldest I think I can remember was when I was in college back in North Dakota, and it was like 32 degrees below 0 temperature. And this was like before, because I'm kind of old, we didn't close schools for cold temps. I mean, if it was a whiteout blizzard, that kind of thing, they closed school. But for just cold temperatures, I think that was the first time the college had ever closed because of the temperatures. And seriously, I mean, college students, we're like walking across campus. It's not like it's sheltered or underground or anything. You go from building to building. So I remember that, I think, was the coldest. And, you know, just those years of college walking across the campus, like to the parking lot, because the parking lot's always super far away from your building. There's never good parking. It was seriously cold. And it's starting to get cold in here. And my nail polish isn't getting too dark. My toes are getting cold. So that's what I'm dealing with this week, is cold. Lots of cold. What else did I want to tell you? Oh, so I finished 2 books and I watched some movies, and I just have to tell you guys about them and recommend them if you're interested. Both the books I read were audiobooks because that's the easiest way for me to read. But they were like made for me and just made me feel so warm and fuzzy and empowered, and like reinforced my belief. And how I always end my videos letting you guys know how much you matter, each and every one of us. And all 4 of these had kind of a take on that. And it just, it just made me, it's like, I just want the whole world to put aside all these prejudices and crap that we judge each other, the judgments. Oh my gosh. Because each and every person has value and is worthy of being loved and loving. And even if we're stuck in like a bad place where we're making poor decisions, it's like the person is still good in there. The choices being made are what's bad. Or, you know, people aren't inherently, I just refuse to believe people are inherently evil. I think we all have the capability of being loved, and however we find that, whether it's through faith, or just, you know, living a good life. It just drives me nuts. So again, that's kind of my belief. You guys know that. If you're a seasoned friend, if you're a new friend, that's what I am. I don't buy into negativity out here online. It affects me, but I don't give it, I try not to give it any of my time, because there's just, you know, I pray for those people that feel the need to post negative comments and say negative things and lash out at people, because I just know there has to be something in them that is so hurting that they're really just looking for love. And that's what I will give them. So, so what I read that I recommend, and this was, both of these are not like new. I don't ever really even pay attention to new releases. I just read things I like to read. But the one I had started and I put it down and I got lost, so I restarted it, was called Thunderdog, and it is by Michael Hingson, Hingson, and it was just so much more than I expected. You know, you read the jacket, and it was about a blind man, which is just one small adjective to describe him, and his guide dog, Roselle. True story, Michael Hingson, this is his true story, that survived the World Trade Center attacks, 9/11. And he was on the 76th floor, I believe, of Tower 1. And didn't know what was happening, but he and his dog and his friend and everyone, you know, he recounted the events of going, you know, walking all the way down the stairs, what they encountered, how he stayed calm while everybody else was kind of losing it. And just, I can't imagine the fear, but he portrayed the story so well. And then, you know, he was caught in the dust cloud after Tower 2 fell, and just kind of that whole day. But in between him recounting his story, he talked about, you know, growing up blind, and, you know, how he was raised that he wasn't treated any different than his brother who had vision. Sight is the different sight. And I never really paid attention to the difference between sight and vision. Anyone can have vision, whether you have visual seeing or not, and they're two different things, sight and vision. And he wasn't treated any differently. I mean, he rode his bike around the neighborhood and freaked the neighbors out. He's driven a car in a parking lot with friends. But really just, you know, all the things he's faced, and it has not made him negative or jaded. It has made him realize more of how people are still alike. And that's what just made me, it's like I hadn't thought of it from a person that was blind before, because I don't know anyone personally that's blind. Don't think I've even talked with anyone. And there's so many things that were the same. And I mean, this isn't it's not a direct comparison, but I don't think I've maybe talked, maybe a long time ago, when I was talked in a couple of videos about my size. I'm morbidly obese. You can tell, you can look at me. I'm not getting into that. But, you know, just the challenges I've faced, being bullied as a kid, teased, all of that. And even as an adult, like, kids will say things to me, and I don't get angry at them, but I get, you know, frustrated with parents that like make a big deal out of it. You know, kids, if they say something, you're like, wow, she's got a really big butt. Or I've heard things that, and they're just responding to what they're seeing. And if I'm given the chance, I will talk to them and say, yeah, I kind of do, don't I? And then I'll talk to them and I'll, you know, just pick something out. You know, you take a guess by what they're wearing or something. Wow, you know, is pink your favorite color? And they'll say, oh yeah. And I'll be like, you know, I really like pink too. It's such a happy color. Wow, we have that in common. Or I'll notice, hey, look, we're both wearing glasses. We both have blue eyes. You know, I'll find the similarities, And it's really that way with anybody, if you think about it, that there's something about them that maybe makes society think of them as different. We're all different. I have yet to meet people that are identical, unless you're identical, born that way. And why do we focus on these differences instead of celebrating the ways we're the same? And if each of us, you know, I know I live in a world where the sky is purple or a different color. I know that, but I will never give up hope and do my part. And I'm like, if I am one person that will not buy into that or treat people poorly, and if I will vocally make the difference to try and uplift and empower other people, it might inspire somebody else to do the same. And if we all start doing it, we can make a change. One person can make a change. Again, totally off the story from this book, but I really thought it was an excellent book. It talked, you know, just gave such an insight to what it must have been like for him, and still living in a world where, you know, he doesn't have sight and he is treated differently, but he is amazing. And he, anyone, there's no reason they can't work. They can't, you know, have whole jobs, employment. And, yeah, someday I really hope I live long enough to see and experience the world where those things are not coming into play. So that was the first book. The second book I had finished. Again, it's when I started reading. I think I actually read it the whole way, but I must have been like distracted and I don't remember. It was called The Templar Legacy by Steve Berry. And this is a fictional piece. I've read some of Steve Berry's before. Berry is B-E-R-R-Y. And he usually has a little bit of a religious side of things. It's kind of this, it's not really a mystery. I can't even think of what the genre really is. Like thriller, I guess, is maybe it. You know, there's always some bad guys, some good guys. And there's usually like, and it's tied with like the Catholic Church, the couple of them that I've read. And that's the faith I practice. And it was, you know, at the very end, actually the last few chapters, again, this is all fictional, but I'm always open to different interpretations. And there was this, you know, document that was supposedly written by Simon Peter, talking about the man called Christ, and really took it in more of a, what today people can realize as a practical way. I'm not here to get into any debates. You guys know that. I'm just sharing this book of fiction that kind of opened my eyes to a different way of seeing things. So I'm not going to spoil the book. So I thought that was good. And then there were two movies that I'd watched recently that also tied right into this, about how, you know, just people are the same, celebrate each other, uplift, empower each other, and just kind of a feel good. So I got to watch Christopher Robin, which is not that, it's not that old, but it's like out on DVD now. So I got it from the library and I just so loved it. And it's probably because Pooh is a character that I grew up knowing with. It wasn't like it was a favorite childhood story, but my mom was a kindergarten teacher. I mean, I grew up with all kinds of 5-year-old appropriate references. And I thought they did the movie so well. Just amazed, obviously, at the computer animation type effects, to have, you know, Eeyore and Piglet and Roo interacting with live actors and actresses, and just this whole, you know, just believe in yourself and that person we leave behind, and the focus of what's important in life. And it's not work. FYI, it's not work, employment. And I'm, even if you're, I mean, if your job, again, I don't want to get too sidetracked. I just thought it was a very good book or movie. And the other movie I watched was the one about, what was it actually called? See, this is why I write these things down. Won't You Be My Neighbor? The story of Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers, who my mom loved. Mr. Rogers, definitely grew up watching him. My mom just admired him, and to see kind of his behind and what he really was about, and his whole focus forever, you know, was and treating kids as worthwhile human beings that have opinions and their questions are valid, and just relating to them. And if we would do that, you know, and raise actually, okay, don't get it. He has a great message. He has a great message. He has the great message about how we are all valued, even the children, the small children that sometimes are brushed off as, you know, their opinion doesn't matter, their thoughts don't matter. And if you treat them that way, that sticks with them, and they remember that growing up, and they grow into the people that have low self-esteem and have challenges in life they don't need to. You know, and I don't believe everybody needs to be a winner of everything and praised all the time. I think it is so much more valuable, as painful as it is, and I have lived through this, to fail, to lose, to be the one in last place, because that is how life is always going to be. And we need to learn that and how to cope with it so we can become stronger and more compassionate towards other people when they're in that position. So I know I'm kind of going all over the place, aren't I? I just wanted to share. Those are all my notes. I can throw it back in the garbage. Share some things that I thought some of you, if you haven't read or seen those movies, might interest you. Seriously, it's starting to get cold in here. I don't know. Oh, I've 21 minutes that I've been out here without the heat on. Nails, they're getting a little darker. Who knows what color it's going to show up there. Did I tell you that it's temperature? I told you they're temperature changing. So I'll put them in my pocket. That'll warm them up. But yeah, I guess this is kind of just one of my minivan, my minivan chats, my minivan Mondays, where I just want to talk about things that, you know, made me think this week and have touched me. And yeah, I just, you guys, am I in La La Land? Do I seriously, you know, live in a world where the sky isn't blue, and thinking that one day we really can all be equal as far as humans, and celebrate the way we're the same, and those differences we have, let's celebrate them and not judge and push down other people, and let's just lift each other up. There's so much in this world that there's plenty to be shared. There's success. There's, you know, there's love. It's not a competition. You don't have to have the most. That doesn't make you the winner. And I just want to lift people up, because life is flipping hard. It's not easy. There's no guarantee. And not anytime, but, you know, in my own life, you know, Eddie and I think we're getting ahead. We're on track. We've got a plan. Things are going okay. We don't have any serious issues, health, financial, you know, we feel like we're gaining ground. Bam! You know, don't ever think that, because you get hit so hard and knocked on your tush. And just a kind word from somebody, they don't know what I'm going through, but just, you know, a kind word. Even if I'm looking hot mess like this, if they just say, wow, you know, you have really pretty eyelashes, or I like your nail polish color, you know, just something, some kindness, you know, open the door for someone. We don't know what the person next to us on the bus, on the subway, in the car driving next to us that now we're cursing at because they cut us off or they're going too slow. You know what? I really doubt they are trying to ruin your day. I doubt it. So let's retrain our brains to not instantly lash out and feel anger towards them. You know, how about some compassion and just think, oh, wow, I wonder, you know, maybe someone they love just died. Maybe they're just driving for the first time after being in a terrible car accident and they're a little trepidatious, or they went in the ditch, or maybe they're just distracted because all of us are distracted and they didn't realize they cut us off or that they're going too slow. I bet that's usually the case, and it's not that they're trying to make your life more difficult. And I'm guilty. That happens to me when I'm tired and frustrated. But for the most part, if Eddie probably won't watch this, but he is the king. I mean, he drives for his job. He's on the road and he does see so much more than I do. So I do respect and give him that. And I will, until I'm blue in the face, always offer and say, deep breath. You know, I'm sure they didn't realize they did that to you. They're not, you know, but he gets a little upset. And if I had to deal with it day in and day out, I understand that. But I don't know. So yeah, I mean, does anybody else think along the same ways that someday we're going to have a world where we all just love and empower each other? I'm going to believe it's going to happen. And I just hope that I'm still here to see it. But either way, I'm not going to change who I am. And I hope you don't change who you are. And I better get going because seriously, I'm starting to get cold. I'm going to have to put on my hat again. So, you know, if you need some encouragement and you like to read or watch movies, I think those would open your mind, give you some little love. I had tears. There was this part of Mr. Rogers' movie and, I cried. He said, I don't know if he did it in his life, but in, you know, while they're talking in the documentary, he said it in a graduation speech. That's what he did, a college graduation speech. He took a minute of just silence and he told everybody, and I'm going to do it to you because what the heck, if you're still here, you don't mind another minute. I want you to just stop and think right now. Think of someone or someones in your life that picked you up, encouraged you, and believed in you. And just reflect on them right now. For a minute, I'm going to do the same. Those are the people that matter in our lives. I can't even stay quiet for a minute, I know, but... And we are that person to somebody else. And we can be that person to so many other people. We really can. I wouldn't be here, being in a minivan in Minnesota when it's cold out is the place anybody wants to be. But when I say I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be at this point in my life if it weren't for these people that uplifted me, that comforted me when I was broken, that helped rebuild me, that believed in me when I did not believe in myself. There are those people all around us. And let them love you. Let them remind you you are worthy of being loved. And then you do the same for that person next to you. That may be a stranger, but they could be a friend. So, this MiniVan Monday got deep pretty fast, so I'm going to get out of here, friends. I love you so much, and I want only the best for you. Please never forget that.